how's it growing? Today we're busting 5 common garden myths that might be holding your garden back.
Myths like putting Epsom salt in your garden. Everybody does that.
Exactly, and if you do too, you'll want to stick around to the end of this video because it might be doing more harm than good.
Saving the juiciest to the end. Classic stack.
Well, you gotta keep it interesting, Bo. First, let's start with a couple of myths that have to do with nematodes that could be killing your plants.
Those dirty life-sucking parasites. What about marigolds? Everybody says to use marigolds to kill nematodes.
And myth number 1, marigolds kill nematodes. Yeah, some do, but not just any marigold, as I learned the hard way, and that some will actually host root knot nematodes.
Yeah, you really got fired up about this at the Equality Garden Club meeting.
They were hosting root knot nematodes. Yeah, it was really shocking for me. I'm like, but I'm growing them to control them. Why are they attacking my marigolds? I planted the wrong variety thinking that I was controlling nematodes, only later to pull up the plants to find massive galls on these roots. Here's the problem. With root-feeding nematodes, there are multiple strains or biotypes, and some have a very good resistance to some control methods. Not all marigold cultivars produce this nematocidal compound, and even those that do aren't as effective against every nematode strain. That's why it's safest to stick with French marigold cultivars. They appear to be the most effective against the widest range of nematodes.
So, you made the problem worse.
Yep. And that brings us to myth number 2, which also has to do with marigolds and root knot nematodes, and that you should bury the marigolds to control the nematodes.
Ugh, that's still making the rounds.
Yeah, and the University of Hawaii Extension debunked this. Marigold roots only release those compounds while they're alive. Once it dies, poof, no effect. So the only benefit that you get out of burying it is that you're adding organic matter to the soil.
So the myth is almost halfway true. You're improving the soil, but you're not killing the nematodes.
So well, by improving the soil with organic matter, it does have its benefit in that nematodes won't be as likely to thrive in healthier soil. But let's move on to a myth that's as stubborn as pine sap.
Oh, you mean myth number 3, the pine needles acidify the soil.
Yep, and this is a tricky one because pine needles actually start out acidic, but as they decompose, the pH level rises. They don't actually acidify the soil.
But there's some truth to that, right?
A little. Composted organic matter can help buffer pH extremes, but it won't make the soil acidic. Compost will actually neutralize the soil as long as you didn't add too much wood ash or lime. Soil biologist Dr. Elaine Ingham points out something even more important, in that pine needles have extreme antimicrobial properties that can inhibit composting or even the soil microbes if added before it's decomposed.
So you just let it break down before you add it to your compost or your garden. Got it. So let's move on to the next one that even had you conflicted for years, Stack. Myth number 4 is that pressure-treated wood is not safe for veggie garden boxes.
Once upon a time, that was true. Older pressure-treated wood used arsenic-based chemicals, but since 2004, the industry switched to copper-based treatments, which are much safer.
Now, if you're going for organic certification, you can't use pressure-treated wood.
Yes, and if that's a concern, you'll want to check out this other video about this where I incorporated a centuries-old technique to use as a buffer.
Okay, are we gonna finally talk about Epsom salt now?
Oh yeah, and here's myth number 5, that using Epsom salt makes your plants happier and healthier by boosting magnesium.
Yeah, but magnesium is a key nutrient.
It is, but by adding too much magnesium, it can block the calcium absorption, and that's a guaranteed way to get blossom end rot on your tomatoes.
Oh no, those dreaded mushy bottom tomatoes.
Yeah, and I learned this one the hard way too, by using Epsom salt in the garden without testing the soil first. My plants suffered.
But then you tested with Soil Savvy.
Yeah, unlike regular soil tests, Soil Savvy shows what nutrients are available to the plants instead of just what nutrients are in the soil.
soil. There's a difference. My magnesium in the soil was off the charts already. Well, what if your soil actually does need magnesium? Then you target the deficiency properly. You can do that with a foliar spray, and also the helpful staff at Unibest provide recommendations on how to improve the balance of nutrients. So no more blindly tossing Epsom salt into the garden. No, the key is balance, not quick fixes. If you want to test your soil right, I've got a vendor link in the description, and Unibest, if you're watching, let's talk.
Shameless plug, but okay.
Right? Soil Savvy measures the nutrients available to plants, so I know exactly what my soil needs, and this helps me avoid wasting time and money on random amendments that could do more harm than good.
So, no more Epsom salt spa treatments for the garden without a soil test.
And you can read more about this on Stack's Urban Harvest blog, link in the description below. Have you fallen for any of these garden myths? Let me know in the comments. You ready, Bo?
Live regeneratively.
And let's grow together.